Adolescence in today's world is colossally, catastrophically, massively overwhelming. Expectations are high from adults and peers, and developmental changes impact every moment. This stage of life is marked by social, personal, and moral development, all of which is strongly influenced by outside factors. In Chapter 4 of the book Promoting Harmony, Strahan et al. States adolescents are on a quest to fit into a peer group while at the same time struggling to define themselves. Questions such as, who am I and where do I fit in, are common developmental themes. The social development of adolescence is strongly impacted by peer relationships. As children move into middle school, they begin to experience the physical changes of puberty as well as an increased social awareness. The combination of these physical and mental changes cause the influence of social comparison to grow stronger as children age. Many young adolescents begin to try on new identities in an effort to answer the question, who am I? Stereotypes such as preps, jocks, homeboys, loners, nerds, geeks, goths, and others can facilitate the formation of cliques where students bond and spend their time with others who look, dress, and act like them. During this time, student social development shifts away from a predominantly familial influence, and according to Strahan et al. In the book Promoting Harmony, across the middle level years, most youth spend increasing amounts of time with peers and encounter a variety of experiences outside the family. This shift away from spending time with family to spending time with peers influences young adolescent social development and can shift students' perceptions of themselves and their place in the world. Young adolescents begin to want independence from their parents, and it can be frustrating when they are not given the freedom that they crave. This lends itself to the age-old adage, my parents just don't get me. Growing up in 2019, this may be true as technology and media change at such a rapid rate. What adolescents experience now is not what their parents experienced growing up. PBS Frontline's episode on growing up further illustrates this divide by showing the technology that was popular in 2008 and which is no longer the go-to for today's adolescents. This frustration can lead to adolescents seeking out and socializing with peers who share similar experiences and frustrations instead of socializing with their families. Social development shifts to being predominantly influenced by peer interactions. As this shifts, peers begin to influence the moral development of young adolescents as well. In the book Promoting Harmony, Strahan et al. State, adolescents may gather information about the freedom and rules that their friends have, which can be compared with the roles and boundaries that exist in their own family. Young adolescents may feel angry and resentful if their peers are allowed to go to a party, stay up later, or watch more mature TV shows than them. However, in order to positively support young adolescents' moral development, parents and teachers have an obligation to provide and set boundaries. Without a supportive group of family and peers of which they trust, adolescents can feel lonely. Young adolescents' social, personal, and moral development is also strongly affected by their access to technology. Almost all young adolescents have smartphones today. According to a study by Pew Research, they found smartphone ownership has become a nearly ubiquitous element of teen life. 95% of teens now report they have a smartphone or access to one. This constant access to being online makes young adolescents feel as if they are missing out if they are not constantly checking Instagram, Snapchat, and their other social media accounts. Peer relationships are often reflected online, with unfriending, blocking, and liking being new forms of social interactions. Because adolescents feel emotions so strongly due to their changing hormonal development, online comments and interactions can influence their personal development. In the book Promoting Harmony, they summarize this by stating, the influence of the web can lead to unhealthy or negative influences that directly impact their behavior and identity formation. This constant access to technology can increase the divide between young adolescents and their parents. This was illustrated in PBS Frontline's episode on growing up online. While the technology shown was dated, the same feelings of wanting to fit in and experience freedom, and that their parents may be holding them back or ruining their lives, is true in today's world as well. Young adolescents have access to more media than ever, including video games at home and often laptops or tablets at school. According to a survey by Pew Research, Some 45% of teens say they use the internet almost constantly, a figure that has nearly doubled from the 24% who said this in the 2014-2015 survey. This can be highly distracting for students and increase their inability to focus in class. Also in the Pew Research study, roughly 9 in 10 boys, 92%, have or have access to a game console at home, and 97% say they play video games in some form or fashion. Video games are a predominant activity for young adolescent boys and to a lesser extent girls. Fortnite dances and lingo permeate the classrooms and hallways of schools. Not having access to the latest video game can negatively impact social relationships as they cannot join in on the popular conversations. This can have a detrimental effect on social and personal development. Technology and media may be a new impact on the social, personal, and moral development of adolescents, but the needs of adolescents transcend this impact. According to the book Promoting Harmony, the 3 essential dynamics that affect the development of adolescents are competence, autonomy, and social interactions. When adolescents experience positive academic situations, they feel more competent and are more likely to believe they can accomplish difficult academic tasks, positively impacting their personal development. However, if they have experienced a history of academic failure, this can negatively impact their personal development. The same is true for social experiences. When adolescents have positive social experiences, this positively impacts their social and personal development. As stated in the book Promoting Harmony, when they feel accepted by their teachers and peers, they are simply more likely to do well in school. Therefore, creating a positive environment where they can experience success both socially and academically can foster positive development. Also, having supportive parents who provide limits and boundaries while allowing them to have appropriate levels of autonomy can also positively support their personal development. However, throw all of this in with today's society where adolescents view perfection online and compare themselves to photoshopped images, and it quickly becomes overwhelming. Young adolescents of color also often face additional challenges as they become more aware of racism and prejudice, and if they are not in a culturally responsive classroom, these moments of academic and social success can be more difficult to obtain. Chapter 4 of the book Finding Joy says that it is so important to teach students that their voice is just as important as anyone else's. Building young adolescents' confidence will instill in them that they have value and positively support their social, personal, and moral development. Overall, adolescence is a confusing, overwhelming stage of life, but with a supportive community, young adolescents can excel.